Hi everyone, all of you. I hope my audio and video is clear. I welcome you all to the live mint analysis that we do every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 8 a.m. Good morning. Sovik, please let me know whether audio and video everything is clear or not so that we can have the class in a smooth and continuous manner without any disruption. We were on a break for a week related to the this live mint analysis, and but now we are going to be regular with it. We're going to bring in the most important articles from the newspaper. We are going to discuss this in detail along with the static portion of it, right? That is why this session is very important. Okay, so Avik Bhakti, very good morning. I hope all of you doing well. Before I begin, if you want to download this YouTube class PDF, you can do it from the Oliveboard app. Just go to the courses section, Oliveboard app. There's going to be a separate YouTube class PDFs folder. You can download the PDF from here. Okay. I'm also sharing my Telegram handle with all of you. If you guys want to connect with me beyond these sessions, Mannat Educator is my Telegram handle. All right. Chalo then. Let's see what are we going to cover in today's session. Which all important news we're going to cover. Firstly, can battery scrap secure India's rare earth future? अब यहाँ पे किसकी बात कर रहे हैं? Rare earth metals की बात कर रहे हैं. Rare earth elements. You might have heard rare earth metals. जिसका dominance is with China. China has the dominance in the processing part of this rare earth elements. जो ये rare earth metals होते हैं ये actually में rare नहीं होते हैं in the economy. It's just that their extraction is very difficult. इसकी extraction is quite difficult because इसकी एक्सट्रैक्शन बहुत डिफिकल्ट है क्योंकि ये कंपाउंड्स में मिलते हैं, इकट्ठे मिलते हैं, इनको सेपरेट करना बहुत मुश्किल रहता है. एंड दैट एक्सट्रैक्शन टेक्नोलॉजी इज मैक्सिमम इज विद चाइना ओनली. नो अदर कंट्री एक्चुअली हैज दैट काइंड ऑफ गुड टेक्नोलॉजी. तो अब हम क्या है, वी आर वेरी वेरी डिपेंडेंट ऑन चाइना रिलेटेड टू रेयर अर्थ मेटल्स. अब हाल ही में चाइना, व्हाट डिड चाइना डू रिसेंटली? चाइना ने लगा दिया एक्सपोर्ट बैन. किस पे लगा दिया एक्सपोर्ट बैन? एक्सपोर्ट बैन लगा दिया रेयर अर्थ मेटल्स पर, जिस वजह से बहुत ज़्यादा सप्लाई चेन डिसरप्शन हुई, विच क्रिएटेड अ नेगेटिव इम्पैक्ट ऑन द ग्लोबल इकोनॉमी. एंड तब इंडिया ने रियलाइज किया दैट वी कैन नॉट रियली रिलाई ऑन चाइना. हमें अब अपनी डोमेस्टिक मैन्युफैक्चरिंग पे फोकस करना होगा. दैट मीन्स अब हम मैन्युफैक्चरिंग सेक्टर में रेयर अर्थ मेटल्स की एक्सट्रैक्शन, आपने ये सुना होगा रेयर अर्थ परमानेंट मैग्नेट से रिलेटेड मिशन भी है गवर्नमेंट का, स्कीम भी है गवर्नमेंट की, है ना, कि हम लोकली मैन्युफैक्चर करने की कोशिश करेंगे, ऐसी टेक्नोलॉजी लेकर आएंगे कि हम रेयर अर्थ मेटल्स को यूज करें. अब उसी बीच ये आर्टिकल आया कि क्या हम बैटरी स्क्रैप का क्या मतलब है, तो जो यूज्ड जो ये बैटरीज रहती हैं इनको हम रिसाइकल करके रीयूज कर सकते हैं कि नहीं. इनको हम थोड़ा सा वी आर बेसिकली टॉकिंग अबाउट सर्कुलर इकोनॉमी ओवर हियर, कि क्या हम इनको यूज कर सकते हैं. दैट इज व्हाट दिस न्यूज इज अबाउट. ठीक है, थोड़ा सा इसको डिटेल में देख लेंगे. देन स्टेट्स गन फॉर कोल पावर इन सेटबैक फॉर रिन्यूएबल्स. यहाँ पे हम कह रहे हैं कि हमें अपनी रिन्यूएबल एनर्जी को ज्यादा से ज्यादा लेकर आना है. वी हैव टू शिफ्ट फ्रॉम फॉसिल फ्यूल बेस्ड एनर्जी टू रिन्यूएबल एनर्जी. लेकिन हम क्या कर रहे हैं, कोल बेस्ड जो पावर है, कोल बेस्ड पावर है, उसके ऊपर ज्यादा इन्वेस्ट कर रहे हैं और इंक्रीज भी हो रही है कोल बेस्ड पावर. कोल पे हम रिलाई कर रहे हैं. व्हाई? क्योंकि हमारे पास जो बैटरी स्टोरेज सिस्टम्स हैं वो इतने नहीं हैं. given the demand given the demand of electricity, जो डिमांड है इलेक्ट्रिसिटी की, वी आर नॉट एबल टू फुलफिल दिस डिमांड बाय यूजिंग रीन्यूएबल एनर्जी. तो हम रिलाई कर रहे हैं कोल पे. मेजर रीजन ये भी है कि रीन्यूएबल एनर्जी को हमें स्टोर करना पड़ता है. अगर मान लीजिए हम सोलर एनर्जी लेकर आ रहे हैं या विंड एनर्जी लेकर आ रहे हैं, वो एक बार प्रोड्यूस हो गई तो उसकी स्टोरेज रिलेटेड प्रॉब्लम रहती है. वी हैव टू स्टोर इट समवेयर. अब हमारे जो बैटरी एनर्जी स्टोरेज सिस्टम्स हैं वो इतने हमारे पास नहीं हैं. शॉर्टेज ऑफ जो ये बैटरी स्टोरेज सिस्टम्स हैं, इसकी शॉर्टेज की वजह से ये प्रॉब्लम आ रही है, इसीलिए पीपल आर रिलाइंग ऑन कोल. तो यहाँ पे एक डायलेमा है कि एक तरफ वी आर वांटिंग टू सपोर्ट क्लाइमेट, वी वांट टू बेसिकली कंट्रोल क्लाइमेट चेंज, और उसके लिए वन स्टेप इज दैट वी नीड टू कंट्रोल द यूज ऑफ फॉसिल फ्यूल्स. और एक तरफ क्या है कि हम अपने फॉसिल फ्यूल्स को यूज भी कर रहे हैं. तो ये डायलेमा क्रिएट हो रहा है कि हमें क्या करना चाहिए है. ठीक है, तो उससे रिलेटेड भी हैव एन आर्टिकल। फिर आ जाता है इलेक्ट्रिक थ्री व्हीलर सब्सिडीज लाइकली टू बी एग्जॉस्टेड अर्ली। जो हम सब्सिडीज दे रहे हैं फॉर इलेक्ट्रिक थ्री व्हीलर्स, लोग बहुत ज्यादा तेजी से उन्हें खरीद रहे हैं, बिकॉज ऑफ दैट सब्सिडीज हो सकता है अपने टाइम से पहले, जो टाइम फ्रेम हमने डिसाइड किया था उससे पहले ही वो खत्म हो जाए। So we are going to see. Then we are going to talk about the agriculture infrastructure fund. ये हम बात करेंगे कि इनिशियली हम इस फंड को क्यों लेकर आए थे, व्हाई डिड वी ब्रिंग इन दिस फंड इनिशियली, और अब हम इसकी एक्सटेंशन की बात कर रहे हैं, क्यों इसकी एक्सटेंशन की बात कर रहे हैं, किस लिए एक्सटेंशन की बात कर रहे हैं, क्या क्या चीज़ों पे ये फोकस करेगा, दैट वी आर गोइंग टू टॉक अबाउट। फिर कुछ फैक्ट बेस्ड न्यूज़ है, एंड एट लास्ट वी आर गोइंग टू डू अ फ्यू एमसीक्यूज। सो लेट अस स्टार्ट विद आवर सेशन नाउ, ठीक है। तो पहला हो गया, कैन बैटरी स्क्रैप सिक्योर इंडियाज रेयर अर्थ फ्यूचर। तो हम इस पे क्या बात कर रहे हैं कि जो हमारे रेयर अर्थ एलिमेंट्स हैं वो हमारे पास इतनी एक्सट्रैक्शन कैपेबिलिटी नहीं है। दो वी आर ब्रिंगिंग इन मिशन, हम मिशन लेकर आ रहे हैं, हम स्कीम लेकर आ रहे हैं, हम प्रोग्राम्स भी लेकर आ रहे हैं, मैन्युफैक्चरिंग मिशंस लेकर आ रहे हैं, मैन्युफैक्चरिंग सेक्टर को हम एनहांस करना चाहते हैं, ताकि हम ये जो रेयर अर्थ एलिमेंट्स हैं, या फिर आपने ये सुना होगा रेयर अर्थ परमानेंट मैग्नेट्स हैं, अभी कल ही पीआईबी में भी ये न्यूज़ थी, आई होप यू गाइस हैव रेड, हमने एक आउटले गवर्नमेंट ने एक आउटले लॉन्च किया है फॉर रेयर अर्थ परमानेंट मैग्नेट, आई थिंक 7820 करोड़ कुछ ऐसा था, आई एम नॉट एबल टू एग्जैक्टली रिकॉल, है ना। तो उसके लिए भी गवर्नमेंट मिशन लेकर आई है, इफ यू गाइस नो राइट डाउन इन द कमेंट सेक्शन। हाँ, रेयर अर्थ परमानेंट मैग्नेट, हाँ जी। गुड मॉर्निंग आकांक्षा, है ना। तो उससे रिलेटेड गवर्नमेंट कोशिश तो कर रहे हैं हम, व्हाई, बिकॉज वी वांट टू रिड्यूस आर डोमिनेंस, यू वांट टू रिड्यूस आर 7280, हाँ 7280 है एग्जैक्टली exactly. है ना, 7820 या 7280 कुछ ऐसा ही था, आई एम नॉट एग्जैक्टली एबल टू रिकॉल। तो वी वांट टू रिड्यूस आर डोमिनेंस ऑन चाइना। एक्चुअली मैक्सिमम कंट्रीज आर डिपेंडेंट ऑन चाइना, क्योंकि जो अगर हम बात करें, जो मैक्सिमम माइनिंग कैपेबिलिटी है वो चाइना के ही पास है, एंड चाइना इसे एक स्ट्रेटेजिक टूल की तरह यूटिलाइज कर रहा है। चाइना इज यूजिंग इट एज अ स्ट्रेटेजिक टूल, अपनी डेटरेंस क्रिएट करने के लिए, अपना डोमिनेंस क्रिएट करने की, वो इसे एक स्ट्रेटेजिक टूल की तरह एक्ट कर रहा है। और जैसे इन्होंने एक्सपोर्ट बैन लगाया, इन्होंने क्या किया था, एक्सपोर्ट बैन लगा दिया था रेयर अर्थ मैग्नेट्स पे, जिस वजह से इट क्रिएटेड अ लॉट ऑफ प्रॉब्लम, इट क्रिएटेड अ लॉट ऑफ प्रॉब्लम। ओके ओके श्योर। So this created a lot of problem. These rare earth metals का export ban created a lot of problem for the entire world. And it created problem for India also, because our manufacturing sector was dependent on that raw material from that rare earth metals from China. So this created a problem. So that is why we are focusing on domestic manufacturing. That is why here comes a question, that can we utilize scrap, battery scrap? Battery scrap, that means used batteries and all. Can we recycle it to secure our rare earth future? This is the question that we're talking about here. Okay, so it's critical mineral security. If I talk about critical mineral security, these are critical minerals. Critical minerals means which are very very important for the national security, for the national sovereignty and integrity of the nation, for national security. Such minerals are very very important, that is why we call them critical minerals. ठीक है, so critical minerals are very very important for our national priority, because there are rising global geopolitical tensions, there are trade wars going on, supply chain disruptions, which are creating a lot of problem, and that is why it is necessary for us to secure our future. So minerals such as lithium, cobalt, rare earth elements, they are essential for, why are these important? Lithium, cobalt, rare earth metals, why are these important? Because we are focusing on electric vehicles as of now, है ना, we are promoting electric vehicles, right? So in electric vehicles we use these critical minerals. For renewable energy, in renewable energy we are trying to promote renewable energy solutions also to secure our climate related problems. So in that also these kind of metals are used. In electronics also these kind of metals are used. In defense technologies these kind of metals are used. If you see the role of critical minerals like these lithium, rare earth elements and all, it is very important today. Its demand is very very high today, right? So we need to focus on rare earth elements and how to extract more and more, how to utilize more and more. So there was this parliamentary committee on coal mines and steel. They gave a very nice solution of urban mining. See, this article is very, very important because a lot of stuff can be utilized in your answers. If you get long answer descriptive questions, this can be written in your answers. There's this very good concept of urban mining which is mentioned over here. What does urban mining mean? This is part of your circular economy. Circular economy, reduce, reuse, recycle wali economy. It refers to the recovery of critical minerals from waste streams, particularly used batteries and discarded electronic waste. What is this? That from from the waste and all, from waste streams and all, whatever batteries we have which are used, whatever used batteries we have, whatever e-waste that we have, what should we do? We should utilize this, recycle this, and then start using it. So we are talking about recycle based recovery to secure our critical mineral future. है ना? Lithium, cobalt, rare earth elements. We should try to use from secondary sources, not just primary sources, but from secondary sources also. So if you get a question related to this, related to rare earth metals, because rare earth elements are in news almost on a regular basis. So one solution, when you write your way forward na in your answers, तो वहाँ पे one solution can be urban mining. You can write this solution, urban mining. This is going to really put emphasis on your answers. ठीक है, secondary sources, they provide faster, less capital intensive, environmentally sustainable manufacturing. है ना? Government is already putting in efforts to localize production of rare earth magnets, है ना? For which are very, very important inputs for EVs, renewable energy, electronics manufacturing and all. So we are already focusing on domestic manufacturing, but along with that, if you want to move in a fast track manner, we should also focus on we should also focus on recycling things, right? China currently dominates the global rare earth ecosystem. It accounts for 60% of global rare earth mining and 90% of processing. Like I told you, that China has dominance over here. China has dominance here. है ना? And export ban. China had put an export ban, which created a lot of trade conflict. There were geopolitical issues and all. Right? Then there are reports mentioned over here. These reports are very important. Maybe you can write it down also in your notebooks, in your notes. These reports, you can always cite these kind of reports in your answers. For example, according to UNCTAD, in the Sustainable Development Goals Pulse report of 2025, which was presented in July, it noted that minerals required for energy transition like copper, zinc, germanium, tin, and nickel are facing higher export restrictions. So, what is happening is that there are higher export restrictions on such elements which are very, very important today. This is according to UNCTAD report. Then International Energy Agency in its Global Critical Minerals Outlook 2025. So there's this Global Critical Minerals Outlook 2025. इसमें भी it was reported that global demand for cobalt and rare earths increased by 6 to 8% in 2024 due to EVs, battery storage systems, renewable energy infrastructure, power grids. We have CEEW, Center for Energy, Environment and Water. India remains heavily dependent on imports to meet its critical mineral requirements. So India is dependent on imports. That is why India is focusing on domestic manufacturing, and that is why here there is this concept of urban mining which can be utilized. Right? Fine. So these secondary sources of minerals can really be of very much help. Right? Fine. And there are certain companies, for example we have Etero recycling, which plans to invest 2000 crore over the next 3 years to scale up recycling capacity, recovering lithium, rare earth elements from used magnets. So companies are also taking up initiative. We have government support also to support domestic production. India plans to leverage its coastal stockpile of 6.9 million tons of rare earth deposits. So we are focusing on what? Domestic manufacturing. ठीक है? Fine, and this is going to really help in maintaining supply chain resilience. It is going to help in energy transition, net zero goals. So, this is a very good step. This recycling is a very good step towards restoring our capability in rare earth elements. So I hope this news is clear to all of you. Now, why this news is important? Because rare earth metals are in news on a daily basis. What you have to know is that what is the meaning of rare earth metals. So always remember, these are actually not rare. ये rare नहीं है. These are not rare. It's just that their processing is very very difficult. Their extraction is very very difficult, and the dominance is of China over this. So a lot of countries are import dependent. India is import dependent, and that is why for securing rare earth metals, India is focusing on domestic manufacturing, and we have certain schemes, programs also for that. Along with that, there is this new concept of urban mining, wherein we can use battery scrap to produce more and more rare earth metals, which is a more faster way of securing our energy. Right? I hope this is clear. Let's move on to the next article, which says states gun for coal power in setback for renewables. Now, see, when we talk about renewable energy, renewable energy is what? Which can be restored again and again. For example, we have solar energy. For example, we have wind energy. We have thermal energy. We have geothermal energy, etc. etc. Majorly, we have solar, wind, water energy, है ना? Hydro energy, है ना? So these are all renewable energies. Now, when we produce energy from here, when we try to produce electricity from renewable energy, this electricity has to be stored in battery energy storage systems. You might have heard of this. So there are storage systems wherein we have to store this battery to use it. ठीक है, ऐसा नहीं है कि फ्री फ्लो तरीके से वी आर यूटिलाइजिंग, है ना? जैसे सोलर एनर्जी है, दिन दिन में वी हैव टू, दिन दिन में इन द आफ्टरनून व्हेन देयर इज कंप्लीट हीट, इन दैट केस यू ट्राई टू स्टोर दैट एनर्जी व्हिच कैन बी यूटिलाइज्ड लेटर ऑन व्हेन देयर इज नो सन. So you have to store that energy. Now we have lack of battery energy storage systems in the country. We don't have enough storage systems related to battery. So this was creating a problem. Now if you see today, population is also very high, right? Extreme weather events are also very high. Climate change, because of climate change, weather is very unpredictable. So the demand for electricity has increased manifold, which is not able to be met by renewable energy. We are not able to meet this electricity demand by renewable energy. We are not able to do that. So what is this? What is this article saying? That we are relying on coal here. So, what is the problem right now? The problem is that there is a dilemma. Now, what is the dilemma? On one side, we want to transition to renewable energy, we want to transition to a clean energy economy. And on one hand, we are utilizing more and more coal. है ना? तो this is creating a dilemma कि भाई should we focus on energy security कि यार electricity providing electricity to the people is also important, but saving the environment is also important. The dilemma is being created over here. That is what this article is about. ठीक है? So India's energy transition is facing a policy and investment paradox. So we are facing a paradox over here, that on one side some states are moving towards coal based thermal power. Despite having renewable energy targets, we have ambitious renewable energy targets. Good morning, Sarthak. I'm good. I hope you too. है ना? So, there's this question that there is this question related to grid stability, fuel supply, rising electricity demand. This is the problem, that states have good amount of renewable energy targets, but they are focusing and investing on coal to meet the energy demands. So yeah, coal supply struggles to keep pace with rapid rising electricity demand, and that is why अब coal से भी people are not able to meet their demand. That is why investment in coal is increasing, and renewable energy so also we are not able to cover up the demand. ठीक है, although solar and wind power, if you compare it with coal, solar and wind power are available at lower tariffs, and as low as 2.5 to 3 per unit. But still, the states, they are not relying on renewable energy. Why they are not relying on renewable energy? The major reason, remember, what is the primary reason? because lack of affordable large scale storage solutions. There is this problem with the storage issue. Battery storage projects are very expensive and they cost 7 to 8 per unit. ठीक है, तो उनको ओवरऑल जो नेट उनका जो कॉस्ट है इन रिन्यूएबल एनर्जी दैट इज हायर. ठीक है, so that is why they are focusing on new coal based capacity, and their India is adding, it is planning to add around 100 gigawatt of new coal power capacity by 2032. So you can see this target over here. You have to remember this target, है ना, that they are trying to add 100 gigawatt of new coal power capacity by 2032. If you see here, several states have announced, steps to strengthen coal-based generation. For example, you can see Assam has proposed 600 megawatt coal-based power plant. Bihar 2400 megawatt of new coal capacity. Madhya Pradesh 5850 megawatt. Uttar Pradesh 6080 megawatt. Gujarat 5060. West Bengal, Jharkhand, Odisha. Everybody is focusing on coal-based thermal power plants. Now this is creating a problem. This is creating a problem related to our uh, uh, energy security, है ना. We have state owned discoms are distribution companies which distribute electricity, है ना. Distribution companies के पास bulk में they receive electricity and then they distribute it to the houses. So these discoms, they face financial stress, they financial stress, and that is why they're not able to afford battery energy storage systems, and that is why they are preferring thermal power, because it provides predictable generation, billing stability, balancing power storage or backup. So it is more preferable to utilize coal based power plants rather than the renewable energy. Fine. Plus there is lack of affordable energy storage as well, and this is a problem. Why this is a problem? Because this is a setback to India's green transition goals. We have our nationally determined contribution NDCs, which say that we have to reduce our coal based, fossil fuel based energy, and we have to focus on renewable energy. We need to reduce our carbon um, footprint, and this is a setback in that case. ठीक है, fine. So I hope that this is clear. So what is the way forward? That India's energy transition will depend on the storage cost. So we need to basically focusing on afford. We need to focus on these battery energy storage systems. We need to make it affordable. This is one solution. We need to improve the grid flexibility, transmission capacity. We need to restructure the discoms which are facing financial constraints. है ना? So we need to restructure them. We need to financially restructure them, and we need to have better coordination between renewable energy targets and state level power planning. I hope that this article is clear to all of you. ठीक है. Then we have electric three wheeler subsidy likely to be exhausted early. So we have this three wheeler subsidies for adopting the three wheelers. Subsidies are provided, है ना. Subsidies are provided. We have PM e drive scheme, है ना. We have PM e bus seva scheme. We have these schemes for promoting electric vehicles, right? So what is this article saying? That India is witnessing rapid adoption of electric three wheelers. So we are basically adopting three wheelers. Three wheelers may EVs are dominating under this PM e drive scheme, and that is why the subsidies which are being provided under the PM e drive scheme, these might get exhausted early. So हमारा जो time frame है, it might, the subsidies might be exhausted beforehand only. ठीक है. Right. So, according to this 857 crore subsidy allocation for L5 category electric three wheelers. So, there are categories under this three wheelers also, L3, L4, L5. And you don't need to get into the details of what is the meaning of these categories. It's just that there are categories over here. So, 857 crore subsidy has been allocated for L5 category of electric three wheelers, and it is likely to be fully utilized 3 months ahead of schedule. Okay, 3 months ahead of schedule. Fine. So overall outlay of PM. Now this PM E-Drive scheme is very, very important. So I've taken up a session on YouTube related to the PM E-Drive scheme. So please check it out. Okay. So overall outlay 10,900 crore. Right. It provides incentives for electric vehicles and all. Subsidy for L5 category electric three wheelers. It is capped at 288,809 vehicles. And it will end on 26 December. right? And they are saying that it is fund limited. We are going to exhaust the fund which is provided under this. ठीक है, L3 category includes e-rickshaws with small batteries, है ना, and they are used for last mile connectivity like Delhi, Kolkata and all. We have L5 category, larger three wheelers, and इसमें जो subsidy that we are providing, that is going to be exhausted soon. ठीक है, इलेक्ट्रिक थ्री व्हीलर्स, दे हैव शोन वेरी गुड एक्सेप्शनल परफॉर्मेंस over here. ठीक है, and over 687,000 electric three wheelers were sold compared to 7 lakh units in the previous year. So basically three wheelers में we are doing quite good in case of EV. So that is a good step towards using more of electric vehicles. So approximately 60% of all three wheelers sold in 2025 were electric. So which is a very good thing, है ना? That means we are transitioning at least in this category is good, है ना? Fine, and adoption rate is better as compared to other segments. Only 4.8% of cars and 6.2% of two wheelers were sold in 2025 electric, but your three wheelers are doing quite well. है ना? What is the reason? What is the advantage with these three wheelers? It is basically, it is very easy for them to switch from gasoline as compared to two wheelers and four wheelers. It is easy to shift to gas from gasoline to this electric vehicle, right? Lower operating and maintenance costs है ना? Last mile passenger transport and cargo movement, it is going to also help in fuel saving. These are the reasons why three wheelers में adoption is quite higher. Only about 4600 L3 e-rickshaws have received subsidies as of now. That means L3 वाली category में we are not really doing well. L5 category में we are doing well. That is what you have to remember. ठीक है? PM E-Drive scheme mandates 100% of specific key components of electric three-wheelers to be manufactured and assembled domestically. So if you want to buy three-wheeler EVs, in that case you have to focus on local manufacturing targets. That means whatever you manufacture usme local content should be quite high. That is what they are saying. ठीक है, e-rickshaw manufacturers like YC electric vehicle, they reported spare parts locally has increased cost by about 10,000 per vehicle. So there's this one problem what is happening, that because we are focusing on local manufacturing and there should be local content also in the electric vehicles, because of which the cost is high. So that is one problem. If we are importing the components from outside na, that is less expensive as compared to locally using that content. तो ये एक problem है जिस वजह से भी EVs का adoption is not that good. L5 category में तो ठीक है, other categories में it is not that good. Fine. So this was the news. Next we have news related to agriculture infrastructure fund. Okay. Budget may top up agri infrastructure fund by 1 trillion rupees to cut crop losses, if you see here. So here we are talking about agriculture infrastructure fund. What you need to know is that this fund, agriculture infrastructure fund, this was initially started during the COVID-19 pandemic to restore the to improve, restore agriculture infrastructure, है ना? So this fund is why, what is this fund for? This money is utilized for what? For creating good amount of infrastructure in the agriculture sector. ठीक है? So this was basically during the pandemic era that we brought in this stimulus for agriculture infrastructure fund, for agriculture infrastructure, है ना? So now government is considering कि we need to add 1 trillion rupees again in this upcoming budget. Why? What is the reason कि हम इसी fund को चलाते हैं आगे? We are going to continue with this fund. Why? The objective is reducing post harvest losses, है ना, post harvest related any kind of loss, improving farm to gate prices, farm से लेकर gate तक के prices to improve that, strengthening rural infrastructure, for that outlays to be increased. ठीक है? When was this agriculture infrastructure fund launched? It was launched in July 2020. It was part of the 20 trillion rupees pandemic stimulus package. The scheme was designed to provide long term affordable financing. What was the scheme for? Long term affordable financing, like warehouse and cold storage, primary processing units, sorting, grading, packing facilities, supply chain, logistics infrastructure. So basically, we want to reduce crop storage, improve value realization for farmers, and support agri entrepreneurs. ठीक है? जो भी कोई eligible projects रहेंगे, they are going to receive loans of up to 2 crore. And there is interest subvention of 3% per annum. So these details are important, which can be asked in the examination, है ना? Loans up to how much? Eligible projects, loans up to how much? 2 crore. ठीक है? Then what is the interest subvention? Up to 3% per annum. How much interest subvention? 3% per annum. Please learn these details. Credit guarantee is also provided. What is credit guarantee? Ki in case you default in that, you will default on those loans, or on that money, then that is guaranteed, है ना? That credit is guaranteed already. Beneficiaries are required to contribute at least 10% of project cost. This is also important. So how much, as in the statement based questions, they can ask 10% of the project cost is to be contributed by the beneficiaries. They can maybe change the number to 20% or to 15%. This scheme is open to farmers, FPOs, agricultural entrepreneurs, cooperatives, rural enterprises and all. ठीक है? AIF has disbursed 40,106 crore towards 45,000 projects. Okay, so how much crore has been disbursed as of now? 40,106 crore. है ना? 1.18 trillion figure associated with the scheme refers to total project cost. So 1.18 trillion rupees is for total project cost. Value of project sanctioned under AIF has crossed 1.18 trillion rupees. ठीक है? And how much loans have banks given? Around 78,743 crore. ठीक है? Fine. So now AIF has been extended multiple times, and now it has been extended till financial year 26. So in the statement they can ask this also, extended till which year? Financial year 26. ठीक है? Since 21, scheme has provided assistance for 6 consecutive years. Fine. So with this 1 trillion top up, we are doing basically how much top up? 1 trillion top up for post harvest infrastructure, for these crop losses and all related to that. ठीक है? Fine. So this was the news related to agriculture infrastructure fund. All right. Now there are a few fact based news that we need to cover. For example, first we have this: Bangladesh leader emerges from exile ahead of election. So we have this uh, Tariq Rahman. He is actually the acting chairman of Bangladesh Nationalist Party. Ab we know that Bangladesh mein what happened. I hope you guys know what happened in Bangladesh. Sheikh Hasina. There was a lot of protests and all, student-led protests and all in Bangladesh, because of which Bangladeshi PM, which is your Sheikh Hasina, she had fled from Bangladesh, and now she's seeking asylum. She has taken up asylum in India. है ना? Right now, Muhammad Yunus is kind of the interim minister over there, which is taking care of the things in Bangladesh as of now. Muhammad Yunus, है ना? ठीक है? So now there are elections have to be held. Elections have to be held in Bangladesh. There is this Bangladesh Nationalist Party, Khaleda Zia. If you know, there was this Khaleda Zia. One party was led by Khaleda Zia, and one party by Sheikh Hasina. ठीक है? शेख हसीना एंड खालिदा जिया, they were opposites, है ना? तो शेख हसीना की पार्टी तो अब you know it is facing backlash. So now Khalida Zia ka son, this is Khalida Zia's son, this Tariq Rahman. So he had fled to London. There were a lot of allegations on Tariq Rahman related to economic related issues, that he had fled away with the money and all, है ना? So he was living in London since 2008, and after around 17 years he's come back to revitalize this Bangladesh Nationalist Party. Khalida Zia की ये party थी, है ना? तो to revitalize this party, now Tariq Rahman is back in Bangladesh. So he is contending for becoming the prime minister. ठीक है? Fine. So the former prime minister Khalida Zia, he's the son of Khalida Zia. ठीक है? So his return comes during sensitive political, this is the very political transition period. Right now we have Muhammad Yunus, who is right now taking up the interim administration, and now this country is experiencing a lot of problems. So that is why he's come back, and he wants to revitalize the party and wants to take power. Pele he was unable to return. Why? Because he was facing charges from money laundering related issues and all, है ना? So he made a public address. He said national unity, democratic restoration, religious harmony, and all. So this was just a fact-based news. थोड़ा सा था कि तरीके रहमान he's contending for elections, है ना? Then government launched Swami 2 fund. So this Swami 2 fund is going to be released by the government. This was a small article on the side of the newspaper. है ना? So uh, the Swami 2 fund, it is designed for providing last mile financing for stalled housing projects across the country. So कोई भी अगर housing related projects है, if there is any project related to housing which is facing any kind of delay, which is facing any kind of delay over here, for that we have Swami 2 fund. So this fund is going to be released so that we can complete these housing projects, and so that we can make the people Swami. Swami is what is Swami? Meaning of Swami is when you are the owner. है ना? You are the owner of your own house. So we want to make those people the owner of their houses, and that is why we've launched the Swami 2 fund for completing these stalled but commercially viable. Stalled projects hai, but they are viable. We can actually, uh, uh, we can actually finish off these projects. ठीक है? Right, so total corpus is 15,000 crore, and the launch of this fund is likely to provide relief to nearly 1 lakh middle class home buyers. So all those middle class people who have bought houses, who are home buyers, is going to provide relief to them. Under this, money will be provided under this fund. This fund will be utilized to finish the projects. ठीक है? To initiate fund, government has already earmarked 1500 crore as seed capital. Seed capital is initial capital. So 1500 crore has already been given in Union Budget 25-26. And now we are talking about the Swami framework. What is the Swami framework? Special window for affordable and mid-income housing. Swami framework. We want to make Swami to everyone as Swami of their houses. ठीक है? So you want to basically restore confidence in the real estate sector and focus on target policy intervention. So you need to know, this is your homework. I'm giving you homework. Please read the details about your Swami fund. What is this Swami fund? Okay, I've already explained it to you, but read it on your own as well. Then we have a very nice article over here. The big global lesson of 2025 is that we cannot undermine China because China has performed very resiliently. China has shown resilience, and that is why we cannot really underestimate China. हम देख कह रहे थे ना, China में slowdown is going on, है ना? China's population is aging. China में there is this real estate crisis. So China is on the downturn. Everybody was thinking that way. But China's performance in this particular year has really outsmarted everyone, and it has really been resilient. ठीक है? So the central global lesson of 2025 is what? That China's economy has proven to be far more resilient. Right? Because at the beginning of this year, China may we were thinking it is facing this problem, like this lost decade problem, like Japan's stagnation in the 1990s. Okay, like Japan faced stagnation during the 1990s. So the question was that even you know even China might be facing this kind of a problem. So this was a question at that point of time, है ना? And because of this US China trade war also, we were thinking yeah, China is going to face a lot of problem. ठीक है? So, and despite these pressures, China retained, because despite these problems, China retained the position as the world's most vibrant manufacturing hub. Still, China is vibrant. It has faced, it is a very vibrant manufacturing hub. है ना? Critical minerals. If I talk about critical minerals, China has a very important role in the critical mineral segment. है ना? For example, I told you rare earth metals में China has the most dominance. ठीक है? China's higher education and human capital is very very good. China focused a lot on its human capital. है ना? Around 40% of school graduates now enter university compared to just 10% in 2000. China has performed really well in the education sector also. Between 2000 and 2020, China's number of engineers rose from 5.2 million to 17.7 million. And by 2022, 47% of world's top AI researchers had completed their undergraduate education. That means education sector of China is very very good. They have really harnessed the potential of their human capital. If they have high population, they have really harnessed that potential, because of which today they are at a very good level. Plus their manufacturing sector is very very good. China is leading in the manufacturing sector. and artificial intelligence, robotics, automation, enabling dark factories where production runs continuously with minimal human intervention. Dark factories matlab wherein human intervention is very very low. Dark factories का क्या मतलब है? Where humans are not really required and everything is happening automatically. So that is also very good. And China has a trade surplus of $1 trillion. The support to EVs, your integrated circuits, ships, advanced industrial goods, this is very, very high. And all these reasons show that China, you can't underestimate China because China has performed really, really well. ठीक है? Fine. So, we can't underestimate China. That is a very strategic mistake. है ना? And the only economy capable of rivaling US in scale, technology and manufacturing power is China. So China is a very very important counter to US hegemony. So these were the important articles from the newspaper. I hope you guys have understood as to how you have to understand each and everything. है ना? जैसे आपके जो भी आर्टिकल्स थे, these are very important from your exam point of view, and आपको जैसे questions आ सकता है इसमें से, that is why we are doing it over here. Fine. So I hope everything is clear. Let's do a few MCQs and then we are going to end the session here, right? First question: why is the subsidy for electric three wheelers under the PME drive scheme likely to be exhausted earlier than planned? What is the reason? Due to a sharp rise in imports of electric three wheelers? Because E three wheelers account for a high share of total three wheeler sales and subsidy demand exceeded projections? Owing to a reduction in the total budget of PME drive scheme due to withdrawal of subsidies for L3 and L5 categories simultaneously? What is the answer to this question? Quickly, I want everybody answering. Sarthak, Surekha, Senyoraj, I don't know what's your name. So, we have Kanksha, we have Bhakti, Sovik. What is the answer for this question? What is the answer to this question? Why is the subsidy for electric three wheelers under this scheme likely to be exhausted earlier? Bhakti has given me the answer. Anybody else? The correct answer for this is B and not D. D कैसे हो जाएगा? If you see here, D है due to withdrawal of subsidies. No, we are not withdrawing any subsidies in L3 and L5 category. नहीं withdraw कर रहे हैं हम. If you see, due to a sharp rise in imports, no, we are basically focusing on local manufacturing. Owing to reduction in total budget, no, total budget तो थोड़ी ना reduce हुआ है PME drive scheme का. The answer is B over here because electric three wheelers account for a high share of total three wheelers. यानी कि total three wheelers में से electric three wheelers are used maximum, sold maximum people have brought these E3 wheelers and that is why subsidies are availed. क्योंकि maximum we have sold E3 wheelers, that is why subsidies are availed, that is why subsidies are exhausting. So the subsidy demand exceeded the projections. ठीक है भक्ति, सौविक, सुरेखा, I hope this is clear. Why B is the answer? है ना? We are not withdrawing any subsidies. Electric three wheelers, they were sold a lot, and that is why the demand for subsidies was high. And these subsidies have exhausted 3 months prior to their time frame. Okay, I hope this is clear. Just let me know if it is clear. Okay. Second question: what is the core message of the article? The big global lesson of 2025: do not underestimate China. China's economy has permanently weakened due to demographic decline. China has shifted entirely away from manufacturing to services. China has demonstrated economic resilience through manufacturing strength, human capital, and technological advancement. China's growth is driven mainly by foreign capital inflows. What is the answer for second question? The answer is C, absolutely correct. China has demonstrated economic resilience through manufacturing strength, human capital, and technological advancements. What is the primary objective of the proposed Swami 2 fund? To provide interest subsidies on new housing loans, to refinance stressed real estate developers, to promote rental housing in urban areas, to offer last mile financing for completing stalled but viable housing projects. Third question: what is the answer? What is the primary objective of proposed Swami 2 fund? Yes, the correct answer is D, to offer last mile financing for completing the stalled projects. है ना, कि जो projects which are not being finished, which are still not finished off, so we have to basically finish those projects only. है ना. Fourth question. What is the primary objective behind proposed 1 trillion top up to the Agriculture Infrastructure Fund? To expand fertilizer subsidies for small and marginal farmers, to reduce post harvest crop losses by strengthening agri storage and supply chain infrastructure, to replace existing minimum support price mechanisms, to directly finance input subsidies for horticulture crops. Absolutely correct. To reduce post harvest crop losses by strengthening agri storage and supply chain infrastructure. है ना? Question number 5. Why are Indian states increasingly opting for coal based power despite cheaper renewable energy tariffs? Renewable energy projects face international regulatory restrictions. Coal based power plants have lower environmental compliance costs. Coal power offers assured baseload supply and grid stability amid storage constraints. Renewable energy capacity growth has already exceeded national targets. Fifth question. Bhakti is saying C. Sovik says C. Seja is saying C. What about others? The correct answer is C. Coal power offers assured baseload capacity and grid stability amid storage constraints. है ना? Sixth question. Which of the following best explains why India is promoting urban mining and battery recycling for rare earth security? ये urban mining ये word याद रखना आप, ठीक है? Remember this word. It's a very good word which can be utilized. India possesses surplus rare earth reserves but lacks mining technology. Recycling provides a faster, less capital intensive, and sustainable alternative to fresh extraction amid import dependence. Rare earth recycling is mandated under international climate agreements. China has offered technological assistance for rare earth recycling. Sixth question. Bhakti says B, Sureka says B, Sovik is also saying B. Anybody else? Seja is also saying B. The correct answer is B. Recycling provides faster, less capital intensive, sustainable alternative to fresh extraction and import dependence. Absolutely correct. ठीक है. So that is all from my side, everyone. If you guys want to connect with me beyond these sessions, then Mannat Educator is my Telegram handle. You guys can connect with me over there, right? And also, if you're preparing for any regulatory body examination, you can avail the 60% off offer, which is a new year offer for all of you. You can use the code HNY and avail this offer. You're going to get 60% off on all in one regulatory subscription. So if you want, you can avail this. This is going to end on 2nd Jan. So hurry up and avail this. Okay. So if everything is clear, please let me know in the comment section, everyone. I hope that this session was beneficial for all of you. Right. Uh, yes, Bhakti. Thank you so much, Bhakti, and great that you are also very regular with your classes and all. I wish you all the best, Bhakti, है ना? I wish all the best to everyone. Keep studying, and everybody have a great day. Wish you all the best, and I will see you all in my next one. ठीक है? Let's meet up in the next session. Okay, Souvik, Bhakti. Bye bye, everyone.